Hey Jade, this is your Uncle Max here. I hear you got a guitar, and you might need some beginning lessons. So I thought maybe if you don't have access to any right now, maybe I'd be able to help you out. So I thought I could give you just a little bit of instruction on how to play the guitar. So the only thing is this picture is going to be upside or backwards or whatever, but I figure you can translate it with a little bit of common sense. You know that there are 6 strings on the guitar. I just came in from riding my bike, so I'm sorry, I'm a little sniffly right now. There's 6 strings on the guitar. The lowest string, which is the one that's the fattest one, is E. The next one is A, D, G, B, and E. It helps if you have a piano nearby. You hit an E, excuse me, and you tune that. That's about an E. So assuming you don't have a piano nearby, which you really don't, there's an easy way to tune the guitar. And if you're playing by yourself, it only really needs to be in tune with itself. It really doesn't matter if it's in tune with other guitars or with a band or anything like that. But if you want to tune the guitar, you tune that first string to an E, then you go to the 5th fret. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you put your finger on the first string at the 5th fret. You play that note. That's an A. And I tightened it just a little bit because I was below it. Those two are the same now. Then you go to the 5th fret on the 2nd string. That note is a D. Bum. So when you pluck your D, there it seems like it's in tune now with it. You hit the 2 strings together. And you go to the 5th fret on the 3rd string, that gives you a G. 5th fret again. You just try and keep this pitch in your head this time. I think that's pretty close. Now when you get to the 4th string, you slide back to the 4th fret. Okay? That gives you a B. Then you go back to the 5th fret on the 5th string. You usually want to take the string. I loosen it a little bit below where it's going to be, and then tighten it up to the string that you want it to be. There you have E, A, D, G, B, E. Sounds like it's fairly good in tune. I mean, it's good enough for jazz, what we're going to do here. So that's your first lesson, okay? Tuning the guitar. That's very important, and you have to practice that. And you need to do it every time you play the guitar. You always want to tune it so it's in tune with itself, okay? It doesn't matter, again, if you're just playing by yourself. It doesn't matter if you're, tuning the notes low or high, just so they're proportional to each other and you got them in the correct intonation with each other. So that's what I would call the first lesson in playing the guitar, okay? That part 2 of the first lesson is how you hold the thing. I set the curve there right on my thigh, put my elbow on the bell back here so it sort of holds it. And you want the guitar to be just a little bit, you want the neck to be just a little bit up. You don't want to be down like this unless you're planning on being a rock and roll star, and I think you got a while to wait for that. Then the other thing is, on your left hand, you put your thumb perpendicular to the neck and about the center of the neck, and then you want to have this space here. You don't want to be clutching you don't want to be squeezing the neck. You want to have space there between, you see, your thumb and the neck of the guitar. So what we're going to do first of all is I'm going to teach you how to play two chords, okay, that are fairly easy to play, and they're very useful for you. And we'll start with two, and we'll gradually add more chords. And the more chords you know, the more songs you can play, of course. And it's just important to learn the chords that you're going to be using for whatever it is you want to play. And you just you can do it that way. The way I always taught guitar was more of the chord strumming, like a rhythm guitar player kind of thing, is the way that I always taught in school. There are other teachers that'll teach you to play melodies and things. I didn't ever really see the need to do that, because I don't think you want to sit there and play Mary Had a Little Lamb on the guitar. I think rather you'd like to strum along with a song that you're playing on the radio or a CD or whatever, or whatever it is that you use these days. But it's probably more enjoyable for you just to be able to sit there and strum along with a song. So the first chord I'm going to teach you, a very easy one. It's E minor. Uses two fingers, first finger and your second finger. Again, you place your thumb sort of perpendicular to the neck back here, and then you swing your hand around, and you're going to take your first finger and you're going to put it on the A string, which is the second string, and you're going to put it right up against the fret. Now when I say up, I mean you want it pushing towards the bottom of the guitar, up against that fret. That's the second fret there. And you put your third finger right next to it on the third string, right up against the second fret. So these two fingers they're sort of right next to each other, but they can't get to the same place. So you sort of have to lean one back just a little bit. But you put the two of the fingers there, then you strum across the 6 strings, and you've got an E minor chord. That's symbolized on paper with a capital letter E and a small M. E minor. And you should play that. Make sure that your thumb, there's a little, I don't know if you can see it in the camera there. Yeah, that your thumb there's dropped down, there's space between your hand there. Your wrist is nice and low, like that. You see my wrist is way down there. Bring my hand around, bring my forearm in under the guitar, and that's an E minor chord. Okay. The next chord I'm going to teach you is a chord called C major. It's a major chord. There are basically 4 types of chords: major chords, minor chords, augmented, and diminished. The augmented and diminished chords are more specialized, and we won't run into those for a long time. But then all of these other chords, the minor and the major chords, can also be 7th chords. That's when you add an additional note to them and makes them sound a little bit different. And they're all different kinds of 7ths that we can learn about and talk about. But for right now, we're just going to learn E minor and C major. If you have your E minor chord again with your first and second finger there, what we're going to do is we're going to keep a common finger, which is that second finger, okay? Not your index finger. The second finger is going to stay where it is. And your hand is going to rock. Your first finger is going to pull back, and it's going to be on the B string, which is the second last string, and it's going to be at the first fret. Okay, you just keep your second finger on the D string at the second fret, and you take your third finger and you're going to get it to the A string at the third fret. So now you've got 3 fingers down. Whoops, I have something wrong there. Uncle Max is not doing too good. There's a C chord. E minor, C. It's like that. E minor, and it helps to hold that common finger. It helps to keep that finger in place there, so that sort of that locates your hand for you. Okay, C, E minor, C, E minor, C, E minor, and you just go back and forth between those 2 chords. And now that you have those 2 chords, you can actually play a song. Once you get to the point where you can flip back comfortably with those. Very easy. Goes Ellen Rigby, sit by the door. Then it goes to a C chord. My. What is it for? Waits at the window. Where? I forgot the word. By the door. What is it for? All the lonely people. E minor. Then it goes to C. Or do they all come from E minor? All the lonely people. Where do They all belong. Just between E minor and C. And you can just work on those two chords, just rocking back and forth. Try and get a nice sound on all 6 strings. Here. See, that one's not sounding quite so good because my second finger is leaning over that string and it's bumping into the open string there. Now it sounds okay. Same thing with the C chord. When you have that, you want to try and get a good sound. Good sound. See, that one again is bumping into my finger. I got it there. My second finger is now straight. And there I was leaning back against that one. So you got to get the right position so that your hand is not bumping into unnecessary strings. The important thing there is, again, keeping that thumb parallel or perpendicular to the neck, and your wrist drop down, and then the forearm in and the arm all the way around as much as possible on the neck of the guitar. And you practice that, and gradually you'll get there. Okay. If you want just a little bit more to do, just so you have something else that you can plague your mind with, I'll teach you how to play scales. Okay, and scales are a pattern that you learn, and once you have that pattern down, it's very easy. To play major scales, the pattern is 2-4, 1-2-4, 1-3-4, 1-3-4, 2-4, 1-2. So what that means is you have your fingers across 4 frets, any 4 frets. It really doesn't matter where it is. I'm going to put my start at the 5th fret, say, with my second finger. 2-4. Then I move to the next string and I go 1-2-4. First I start 1, 2, 4. Go to the next string, go 1-3-4. Go to the next string, go 1-3-4 again. Sorry. The next string, go 2-4, 1-2. So you got 2-4, 1-2-4, 1-3-4, 1-2. Come back down 2-1-4-2-4-3, 1-4-3, 1-4-2, 1-4-2. And you can practice that. You can put it anywhere. Start it at the 7th fret. Start at the 3rd fret. Excuse me, Uncle Max hasn't played his guitar for 15 years. You have to remember, I used to teach this, but I haven't really done it lately. So I'm going to have to practice too to keep teaching you. But this gives you a little bit of something that you can try. You can work with those. You can play some chords. Start with the E minor chord, going to the C chord. Just practice those, see how it feels, and see if this helps you out. If you want to, just practice the scales. That's good because it teaches you some finger dexterity. You know, and all these things are good for learning to get your finger square on the string, slid up against the fret as close as possible, and we'll see how you do. Okay? Well, you just have fun, Jade. Enjoy yourself, and I'll post a second lesson when we see how this first one goes. Okay? You take care. Bye-bye.